This past Tuesday, big news dropped. If you remember, back in July, Christian singer Sean Foyt was doing a tour around Canada, and he went and stopped in Montreal as one of the stops. And well, if you remember as well, our media apparatus got everyone into a tizzy, everyone bent out of shape, and saying, this man is MAGA, he is fascist, he is a threat to our country and to Canada. We need to oppose him by all means possible. And that's what they did. Many government entities, buildings, places that they were renting, all revoked their permits across the country, almost all at the same time. It was a very weird situation because it all kind of felt inorganic. It kind of felt fake. Where did this all come from? CBC did a piece in Halifax before he even got to Canada. And then before he knew it, like dominoes falling, everything started boom, 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 boom. But there was one church building in Montreal who still wanted to host him because, well, it's their private property. So they had him. And do you know who showed up? Antifa. Antifa showed up to protest outside. And as the concert was going on inside the church building, well, a man took some smoke bombs and threw them into the church building. Then he left. And we didn't know who he was. Until recently, they found out who he was, and we're going to be getting into that story today. I'm looking forward to jumping into it, but welcome to the Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Josh. If you get any value from today's episode, take the time to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us to grow. It helps us to get to new audiences and helps people see that there is something different than what the mainstream media has to offer. Now, let's get into our first story, shall we? So as I said, this man threw smoke bombs in a church building back in July during a concert as a form of protest against Sean Foyt and what he was doing here in Canada. So this man walked in, as you can see here, white dress shirt, a little bit of hair, glasses, walks in and throws a smoke bomb during the concert and he leaves. And so for the longest time, people were wondering, who is this guy? What's going on? And, it was reported to police. It was left with police. Police couldn't find him. They didn't know where he was. They didn't know who he was. Is he from Montreal? Is he even from the area? Did he drive in from another province, maybe another country? Who is this man? We weren't getting any responses and answers from the police. And well, Rebel News, doing what they do best, Alexa Lavoie, may have tracked him down. And this is her waiting outside his workplace to talk to him. So that's him leaving his workplace. Here comes Alexa Lavoie with her camera, running with her cameraman. Got questions for you. And just watch this 30 seconds here. Looking at his phone. And that's the photo of him, right? That's the photo of him. He's looking at his phone, avoiding her at all costs. Trying to figure out, is this you? I don't know who you are. Do you think he's the man? There's a bit of a decent shot of his face here. Do you think he's the man? They seem to look very similar to each other. And well, if you look at his behavior, it's a little odd, isn't it? This is the first thing Reg pointed out when we were looking over this together, was if this man, I don't know, was just a random person that they're stopping on the street who wasn't the man they're talking about, there'd be a different reaction from him. Because typically, I don't know about you, I've seen it multiple times over and over again. We even saw it with the baseball Karen down in with the Phillies, where she just randomly took the ball from the father, who, got it fair and square. When she went to get in that guy's face, he remember that was that was a viral moment. He kind of got spooked. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And just a woman's just yelling at him. And he's like, "What are you saying?" The natural reaction when someone comes at you with accusations of things you don't know what they're talking about is one of confusion, maybe frustration, maybe even being agitated. Be like, who are you? Why are you in my face? I don't know who you are. That would typically be the reaction of someone who is not guilty, not who you said they are. But a man immediately looks down at his phone, looks at the ground, and keeps walking. And they walk with him. They walk with him for 30 minutes asking him questions. They keep hitting him. They keep hitting him. And that's the question, what's going on? What's happening? And again, this is all alleged at this point in time, but it looks just like the man, doesn't it? So if you look back at him in the church building here, I want you to take a notice here. So you see he's walking in, right? So a couple things I noticed. Well, obviously his face, hairline, something we're looking at here, glasses. But look at his shoes. white New Balance shoes he's walking in with as well. So as she's walking along with him, as they move along, and you see this top-down view from the camera, look at his shoes. I don't know if I can zoom in enough on that. No, it's not going to let me. But if you zoom in on that, his shoes here, he's actually wearing white New Balance shoes here as well. Yeah, you can see the N right there on his left foot. They're clearly white. He's wearing the exact same shoes that he wore at the church building. So at this point, it could be his evil doppelganger. Don't have a hard time believing it. Everything points to this is the man who did it. And this is what's really frustrating about it, is this was left with police for a long time. It's been 2 months since this all happened. Got nothing from police. And that's their job. It took Alexa Lavoie with a cameraman 2 months to find him herself and discover who he is. That tells you how things are a little bent out of shape and a little out of whack here in this country, where we're seeing worship centers around our country being attacked, synagogues and church buildings these days, because when mosques are attacked, you hear all about it. Typically, all resources are given to finding out who attacked the mosque. But when it's a synagogue, when it's a church building, don't know what happened. I guess we'll just put that one on the back burner. But here they found the man who did this. And that's the part that's really kind of the surprising part of this whole thing, is that the man works within the Department of National Defense, if this is who he is. You're getting the point now. This man was working with a far-left organization, or at least allegedly at this point was working with a far-left organization, and went and threw smoke bombs during a church service, which at this point, again, allegedly is coming across as if it was politically motivated. We don't have hate speech laws here yet. However, we don't need them. You simply can't attack worship centers. It is wrong and it's against the law. You can be arrested for that. But police don't care about it. Police don't care about it at all. Well, Alexa was talking to this man. She called the police saying, hey, I found the man. And Alexa followed up on it a week later, and they've done nothing about it. They don't care. The police do not care about this stuff. Antifa can operate as they so please. And then we have someone who's looks like to be connected with Antifa, working within the Department of our National Defense. Shrug the shoulders. It is reported as well that his workplace is really upset. Not because he did what he did and got caught. No, they're upset that his workplace details got leaked. That's what they're upset about. That shows you the rot that is within our institutions at the highest levels in our country. So for Canada to get a little bit of a lesson for how to deal with Antifa and how to move forward, well, here we can look south of the border. Antifa was attacking Jack Posobiec, an American political commentator, and well, this is what happened.
That's not how doxing works. I'm not going to. I'm not a Nazi. What are you doing, man? Hey!
Whoa!
You got a problem?
Yeah, I got a fucking problem. You want to fight? Fuck away from me.
I'm standing here. I don't want to fight, man. I don't want to fight. No.
So yeah, when people attack people out of political means, yeah, you should be arrested right away. That's how you do. That's how you actually deal with it. And when they're found, they should be arrested. But guess what? This guy's just being left to hang out and do whatever he so pleases. Because right now, violence towards conservatives, violence to those on the right, is legitimized and normalized. It's okay. However, what if you went to a pride event? Well, we'll take a little personal. Went to a pride event at a convention center and you went in through smoke bombs. You don't think the cops would be showing up at your door in a heartbeat? Yeah, they would. But when it happens to someone who's deemed to be on the right or a conservative, well, that's not that big of a deal. This man works for the Department of National Defense, or at least works as a contractor as a part of the National Defense. Allegedly, if this guy is the guy, nothing. Rebel News is, well, they're not backing down. They've taken things into their own hands at this point, and well, now they're out front this guy's workplace consistently, and here's Alexa Lavoie reporting on it.
Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News, and I'm back at the Long Point military base in Montreal, where the Ministry of National Defense sits. So we are here, first of all, because we came here yesterday with our billboard truck. But unfortunately, yesterday it was a federal holiday, so nobody was here. So we brought our billboard truck. I have also a picture, a screenshot of the video of the man exiting the church during Sean Fort worship service, who threw 2 smoke bombs inside of the church. And I'm asking the employee if they recognize the man in question. If you didn't see our investigation, I invite you to watch it on Ribbon News on YouTube.
So like, it's actually hilarious. So they've showed up in front of this guy's workplace with a billboard showing Antifa doing dangerous things and then showing this guy's face all over it. Oh my goodness. But hey, if that's what's got to take, that's what's got to take. I quite frankly don't really care at this point. If the cops aren't going to do their job, well, you're going to get more citizen action like this. And it's nonviolent. They just showed up with a billboard trying to expose this whole thing. Make enough noise where something has to be done about it is usually the key on this one. A lot of people wonder, well, how did we get to this point? Well, it all got to this point because it got unchecked in our education systems. We've seen it throughout time. This is really how things developed in Soviet Russia, is it all started on campuses and teaching ideology on campuses. And then it spread throughout until it got to the highest levels of government, or there was a violent takeover of that government. And there was a couple different points in American history where this happened, where you had the Soviets and people who were sympathetic to the communist cause in America in 1917 to 1920, I believe it was, where they caused massive unrest and just, again, pockets of violence, trying to prove their point and trying to destabilize the U.S. And they eventually all got caught, round up, and extradited out of the U.S. The woman most famous for coordinating a lot of this was Emma Goldman. And it all started with these sympathetic communist causes because there was them against the evil capitalists. And they started going around causing violence, causing a bunch of unrest. And it became a very huge issue in the U.S. at the time. But the long game is always, you have to get in the education system first. That's the long game. And that's what we're seeing currently in our countries. That's how we get this situation where people who seem to have ties to Antifa, a literal terrorist group deemed in the U.S. at this point. Hopefully we'll be seen that way in Canada, and it will be seen that way in Canada once the Liberals are out. Because liberals use Antifa as their weaponized arm. There's enough circumstantial evidence around that would suggest that's the case. But they need to be deemed a terrorist organization here as well, because that's what they do. They go around and commit violence and hurt people in the name of political reasons. Great job to Alexa Lavoie and the team at Rebel News for uncovering this. I think it's important because if this is as bad as it appears to be, that means we got a lot of work to do to extraditing the rot that's within our systems. But anyways, enjoy your day. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out.